We tried making art as programmers for the first time and went horribly wrong. But after multiple days of banging our heads against the wall, we came up with this final dialogue sprite.
Okay, but how did we get here? Well, we just started drawing. We had no idea what we wanted for our main character to look like, but we scored a drawing tablet for an amazingly cheap price on a second-hand website. So that was a really nice buy for us. That made it much easier than just doing it with our mouse and just trying to connect some points, and yeah, no, we just wouldn't do that. But our game will feature two playable worlds, a real world and a in-game world. And since you follow the story of a game developer, so we just started drawing and came up with like this character for the game world in like 5 minutes, and it was horrible, but I didn't care because I drew it in like 20 seconds or something. Yeah, this art was pretty bad, but it wasn't, obviously it's not for any game purposes, it's just to have some kind of know-how of what we want our character to look like. So we just started drawing, and a few days later we came up with this one. And we thought it looked pretty nice. So we put it in engine and we gave it a quick rig and animated just some quick idle animations. And then our first big problem came in engine, and that was the scaling problem.
Yeah, this is not how it should look like. And that is because of scaling. Caleb was really big because we made him at like really high resolution. So when we put him in engine, he was like really big, so we just scaled him down. We thought, yeah, easy done, nice. But yeah, it gave all kinds of problems, like when we tried the walking animations and the walking, Caleb became fucking big for some reason. So yeah, this was not what we wanted for our game. So yeah, we had to do it the right professional way.
But since this was just for testing purposes, we did not really mind, because at this stage of the development process, like we are so early, we are just 3 weeks in, so we didn't really mind it. It was just, okay, we got a character in engine and we got it to walk. So we were happy for the result that we got in that point.
Yeah. So after playing around in an engine, it was time to create a way better version of a boy Caleb. Like in this time, we were still experimenting a bit with the art style, what we wanted to have exactly. But now it was time to make a choice and have just a set version of Caleb we wanted to use and base the world off around. So yeah, I looked around online because yeah, I'm a technical guy. I didn't really know how to do art first. Like if you see Caleb how he was before, it's like not really good. So I was like searching around, few YouTubers, followed some tutorials, learned how to use Krita. Pain in the ass it was, but it worked eventually. And yeah, this is we came up with some really cool results eventually, and it's a big improvement if you ask me. After a lot of drawing, we finally made the final Caleb design. So this is like his dialogue sprite. We're gonna use in dialogue. And yeah, I kind of based him. I made some mood boards to get first a vibe of how I wanted him to be, and looked at the world we wanted to have. So we're kind of going for like a dark, really cyberpunk style, but also kind of funky with neon lights and shit. So yeah, I wanted to make a bit of a combi of both those things in a character. So we made him a bit alternative, a bit emo, but he also has really bright blue eyes with bright blue highlights in his clothes and his hair. So I thought that was a really cool way to implement the world into his character. So to make him fit into our game world.
Okay, so this is going to be the dialogue sprite for Caleb. But at first we wanted this to be also the sprite in-game, which you will use in combat and when just walking around. So we remembered, okay, you do not want to have in-engine scaling, because that's just a whole nightmare. So we exported it from Krita and we set the final height to be around 400 pixels. Because we rendered the game in 920 by 1080, so around 400 pixels will be roughly a third of the screen size, which will be pretty good for a main character in-game. So we exported it and we put it in Godot, and it was a nightmare. It looked so bad, so blurry. couldn't even make out that it was a hand-drawn character. It almost looked like a pixel art character. So we went back to Krita and we noticed our second big mistake. The canvas size was at somewhere between 9,000 and 10,000 pixels in height. So we got this huge canvas to draw a shit ton of detail on and then try to export it to 400 pixels. You just can't see the details at all. Like it's a 22 to 25 to 1 ratio, so all of the details get lost. But we didn't want to redraw it because there was a lot of effort put into it, so we tried everything. We tried exporting it in different sizings, exporting it in engine even, again trying to re-import it with smaller sizes, using mid-maps and all that kind of stuff, which are used for different things, but we didn't know at that time. And we just came to the solution, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we went back to the drawing table and I said to him, like, okay, we should have a maximum canvas size of 1600 pixels. Because if you use 1600 pixels, that's just a 4 to 1 ratio if you export it to 400 pixels, which is generally seen as fine.
Yeah.
You can preserve a lot of the details and still draw at a higher canvas. So it generally isn't that much of a problem to scale it down 4 times instead of 25 times. But the problem was we just couldn't have as much detail into the sprite as we wanted to.
Yeah.
So we were a bit disappointed because we really loved the drawings we had on the almost 10K canvas size, but it just wouldn't be possible in game. But then we looked at other games like Nine Souls, Hollow Knight, and we looked at the main character sprite and we actually saw that it was a pretty simple sprite. Most of them just have a few basic shapes, pretty generous outlines, and that's it. Not a lot of shading, not a lot of details. So it was just all in our head. Like the dialogue sprite, of course, thankfully it's not wasted because we can use the high res in dialogue.
Yeah.
But the in-game sprite, it's fine if it's way less detailed and if it's way smaller because you just don't need it as much.
So after everything was set up, we made the new sprite with the 1600 pixel size. We imported it into Godot to see what it would look like, and it looks pretty good. So as you can see here, here it is in engine. Like, we're really happy with the result. Yeah, it's a lot less detailed, but to be honest, the details you weren't gonna see it if we imported the high resolution sprite. You weren't gonna see the details because the screen is just way too small. Yeah, this is just way clearer and way better.
So if there is one thing we can give to you guys, do not draw at almost 10,000 pixel size if you want your sprites to be around 400 pixels. We learned it the hard way and it took like 3-4 more days of work to figure it out actually. But it works and everything in the end will all be okay and it all will be for a better game in the final result. But this devlog was pretty artsy, so the next one will probably be more focused on some technical parts of setting up the game, maybe about the world, how we handle rooms and that kind of stuff, but that's for in the future. So if you would want to follow our journey on realizing this and making it a full-on-fledged game, please just give us a follow and we will keep you guys updated. The frogs are out.